Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Read With Me. Today I am here to read with you all guys a new short story from a new collection by Sudha Murty. It is The Old Man and His God, Discovering the Spirit of India. Let's read together. The very first short story of this collection is The Old Man and His God. Let's start. A few years back, I was traveling in the Tanjavur district of Tamil Nadu. It was getting dark, and due to depression over the Bay of Bengal, it was raining heavily. The roads were overflowing with water, and my driver stopped the car near a village. There is no way we can proceed farther in this rain, said the driver. Why don't you look for shelter somewhere nearby rather than sit in the car? Stranded in an unknown place among unknown people, I was a bit worried. Nevertheless, I retrieved my umbrella and marched out into the pelting rain. I started walking towards the tiny village, whose name I cannot recall now. There was no electricity, and it was a trial walking in the darkness and the rain. In the distance, I could just make out the shape of a small temple. I decided it would be an ideal place to take shelter. So I made my way to it. Halfway there, the rain started coming down even more fiercely, and the strong wind blew my umbrella away, leaving me completely drenched. I reached the temple soaking wet. As soon as I entered, I heard an elderly person's voice calling out to me. Though I cannot speak Tamil, I could make out the concern in the voice. In the course of my travels, I have come to realize that voices from the heart can be understood irrespective of the language they speak. I peered into the darkness of the temple and saw an old man of about 80. Standing next to him was an equally old lady in a traditional 9-eared cotton sari. She said something to him and then approached me with a worn but clean towel in her hand. As I wiped my face and head, I noticed that the man was blind. It was obvious from their surroundings that they were very poor. The Shiva temple where I now stood was simple with the minimum of ostentation in its decorations. The Shiva Linga was bare except for a bilya leaf on top. The only light came from a single oil lamp. In that flickering light, a sense of calm overcame me, and I felt myself closer to God than ever before. In halting Tamil, I asked the man to perform the evening Mangalarati, which he did with love and dedication. When he finished, I placed a 100 rupee note as the dakshina. He touched the note and pulled away his hand, looking uncomfortable. Politely he said, Amma, I can make out that the note is not for 10 rupees, the most we usually receive. Whoever you may be in a temple, your devotion is important, not your money. Even our ancestors have said that a devotee should give as much as he or she can afford to. To me, you are a devotee of Shiva. Like everyone else who comes here, please take back this money. I was taken aback. I didn't know how to react. I looked at the man's wife, expecting her to argue with him and urge him to take the money, but she just stood quietly. Often, in many households, a wife encourages the man's greediness. Here, it was the opposite. She was endorsing her husband's views. So I sat down with them, and with the wind and rain whipping up a frenzy outside, we talked about our lives. I asked them about themselves, their life in the village temple, and whether they had anyone to look after them. Finally, I said, both of you are old. You don't have any children to look after you everyday needs. Sorry, I'm repeating it. Finally, I said, both of you are old. You don't have any children to look after your everyday needs. In old age, one requires more medicines than groceries. This village is far from any of the towns in the district. Can I suggest something to you? At that time, we had started an old age pension scheme, and I thought, looking at their worn out but clean clothes, they would be the ideal candidates for it. This time, the wife spoke up. Please do tell, child. I'll send you some money. Keep it in a nationalized bank or post office. The interest on that can be used for your monthly needs. If there is a medical emergency, you can use the capital. The old man smiled on hearing my words, and his face lit up brighter than the lamp. You sound much younger than us. You are still foolish. Why do I need money in this great old age? Lord Shiva is also known as Vaidyanath. He is the Mahavedya or great doctor. This village we live in has many kind people. I performed the puja and they gave me rice in return. If either of us is unwell, the local doctors gives us medicines. Our wants are very few. Why would I accept money from an unknown person? If I keep this money in the bank, like you are telling me to, someone will come to know and may harass us. Why should I take on these worries? You are a kind person to offer help to two unknown old people, but we are content. Let us live as we always have. We don't need anything more. Just then, the electricity came back and a bright light lit up the temple. For the first time, I saw the couple properly. I could clearly see the peace and happiness on their faces. They were the first people I met who refused help in spite of their obvious need. I did not agree with everything he had just said, but it was clear to me that his contentment had brought him peace. Such an attitude may not let you progress fast, but after a certain period in life it is required. Perhaps this world, with its many stresses and strains, has much to learn from an old couple in a forgettable corner of India. Thank you. I think it's a brilliant story. It talks about that we should be grateful with whatever we have. And we do really have a lot of things to learn from these two couple, from this two couple, sorry, from this couple. And we really have a lot of things to learn from this couple, no doubt. See you soon in the next story of this collection. Thank you.